Thank you, Pilar. It was beautiful. Next up this morning, we have my close friend and a wonderful author, Wendy Anzelia. Thank you, Wendy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wendy Anzelia. I'm an ascension messenger and luminary. I was born and raised in New Jersey. I dropped out of graduate school at the University of Oklahoma to join a rock band. That was followed by a business selling rare phonograph records to collectors. But in 1984, a tragedy in Mexico changed my life. My boyfriend was shot and killed, and I was kidnapped and raped. A year later, I went back to Mexico to face my fears. Then I traveled to neighboring Belize. The last stop on the trip was a tropical island off the coast of Belize, where many tourists come to snorkel and scuba dive on the second largest barrier reef in the world. I stayed there for 15 years. While there, I owned and operated a restaurant that served only one thing: fruit crepes with yogurt and granola, all homemade by me. That was way too much work, though. So I became an artist, creating wearable art, which I sold to the tourists. After 15 years on the island, a friend offered me a job in Toronto working in a film production office on major motion pictures. That was where I learned to use a computer. A couple of years later, I decided to move back to New Jersey, and using my newly acquired computer skills, I found a job working in the technology sector. Currently, I work in software development as a tester. My spiritual journey evolved along with my physical journey. About 15 years ago, I took a Reiki class, which significantly changed my spiritual direction and led me to other spiritual modalities and people on similar paths. I became a Reiki master and developed my own system of Reiki called Merkiva Reiki. That was where I came in contact with the Earthkeeper group. Currently, I'm the author of 6 books. 4 of my books are based on channeled messages: Do You Want to Be Happy Now?, Life is Good, All is Well, Being a Master in the New Era, and my latest, Ascension Messages from the Higher Realms. Another one of my books, My Way Around, is the story of my adult life and how I overcame tragedy and adversity to be the happy person I am now. And Saving Atlantis is a multidimensional modern myth about a place called Atlantis simultaneously occurring with ours. My channeled messages and more can be found on my websites and social media sites, Ascension Messages and An Enlightened Author. What is light? A scientific explanation of light is an electrical field tied up with a magnetic field flying through space. So the electrical part gives it substance, and the magnetic part couples with it to give it motion. When the full spectrum of light interacts with magnetism, many combinations are possible, perhaps even an infinite
However,
number.
what we see with our eyes reflects only the light in our available spectrum. As we ascend, we may also get glimpses of things outside of our spectrum, such as orbs or colored lights. Okay, I know it's early, and that's a bit technical first thing in the morning, so I'm going to move on to the more esoteric view of light. Light is one of the ingredients in life force energy. The other part is love. Love and light together equal life force energy.
Life force energy is what gives us life, and in varying degrees determines the quality of that life. So then what does it mean to hold the light? How can we hold something that's electromagnetic energy? When we set our intention to hold the light, it means we're maintaining an energetic frequency. This might be the case in relation to a person, a situation, the whole of society, or even that of the planet. But it may seem that one person can't hold enough light to make a difference. That's because we're not able to measure the exponential effect of the light we're bringing in and holding. It can't be measured the way we measure produce in the grocery store. Think about what happens when one bubbly or dynamic person walks into a room, how the energy changes. Certain people can lift the spirits of many just by hearing their name, seeing them, or listening to them speak. For example, the Dalai Lama or Oprah have an uplifting effect on many of us just by their presence. They make us happy. Then, once we're happy, we can radiate our happiness to others and on exponentially, lifting the spirits of an entire room, city, or planet. Also, when we ask for assistance from the higher beings, such as angels and ascended masters, again, we cannot measure the quantity or efficacy of the light energy being created and held. The higher beings, some of those whom we call angels, archangels, and ascended masters, are with us all the time. They're only waiting to be invited in. We only have to ask and they'll come forward. We may request a specific being, or we can ask the higher beings in general to assist us, in which case those whose specialty fits the needs of the situations will be the ones to come near. Even when we're not thinking of higher beings, they're watching over us. And when we require their assistance and are not thinking of them, their willing presence cannot help but give us a nudge. Then if we ask for their help, we feel an energetic sigh of relief as a weight is lifted off our shoulders. The higher beings speak to us all the time. We only have to listen with the intention of hearing them. They don't only speak in words that we hear in our minds, but in events, numbers, symbols, sounds, and colors, just to name a few. When we learn to interpret their language, we become aware that they speak to us frequently, giving us guidance and assuring us that we're headed towards the highest good. Then ideas come to us, our actions flow gracefully, and stuff works out. Holding the light is accomplished by keeping out the darkness. We can't hold the light if we're also holding the darkness. As we go through our day, holding the light and keeping our spirits above the vibration of the collective consciousness, we have the ability to affect people in a positive way. I like to make people laugh. Laughing at something that's really funny removes us from our mundane existence, and we relinquish control of our ego and release heavy energy. That's why we always feel better after a good laugh. When I walk away from a conversation and a person's laughing, I consider it a small success. Occasionally, when I've said something funny, the person will laugh and say, "I needed that." Laughter's a universal language, as is smiling. When we smile at someone, we're approaching them in peace. They can feel safe. If they smile back, they're acknowledging a simple human action that lifts the spirits of both them and us. But holding the light is not just making others laugh. It's much more. We know that everything is vibration. The energetic signature of the planet is made up of a blended vibration, and it's up to us to keep the home fires burning, as they say. We can already see what happens when the human energetic quotient declines. All we have to do is listen to the news. When more and more of us hold the light, it helps to raise the consciousness of all of humanity. The way we'll see improvement in any situation is by bringing in a higher vibration. And we can do this by holding the light. Light is the highest vibration. So when we add it to the mix, it can only make things brighter. Light transcends belief systems. We all share the same light at different vibrational levels. We all have the same life force energy flowing through us, no matter what we believe, what religion we are, what political views we have, or what kind of pizza topping we like. The light is always the same, like the air we breathe. We all have the same part of the same soul, just in different containers. So when there's a cultural movement for positive change, those involved are coming in with a higher vibration than the current situation. Over time, as the new ideas become mainstream, the higher vibrations become part of the culture, and the world becomes a better place. Then the light quotient of everyone is raised. Yes, it may seem like baby steps, or moving at a snail's pace, but holding the light is what we have the power to do right now, and we already know how to do it. When we hold the light, others can tap into that higher vibration and raise their own consciousness. Once people evolve spiritually, things get better because their beliefs and actions will resonate with higher vibrations. Everything is cyclical. There are good times and hard times. It's all relative. I've worked in technology for 18 years in a large real estate company. So I've seen firsthand the cyclical nature of the economy, reflected in my annual bonus, which in some years was non-existent. So we don't have to think we're on a downward spiral, because life goes up and down. When the upward trend begins, we can be there, holding the light. When the downward cycle begins, we can be there as well, holding the light. Holding the light lifts our vibration and keeps it at a higher level. We'll be happier, healthier, and more energized. There are many ways to raise our vibration. Meditation, reading, inspiring writings, energy work, chocolate, pumpkin cheesecake, and for me, a Guinness at the end of a busy day, occasionally that is. That Guinness was consumed on the Earthkeeper Ireland pilgrimage. But how do we hold the light in stressful or even tragic situations? In the good times, it's easy to hold the light. The challenge is keeping it up in the other times. I find that being an observer is one way to keep my vibration high. Often we react to situations because we learn to react in a particular way. It's not always the only way. A dimension is a point of view, and we are living in a multidimensional reality. This means that sometimes we can view the same thing in several ways, all of which may be valid at various times. But we tend to stick the labels right and wrong. This is appropriate in some cases, but others it can be an exercise in futility. Things change, and what we consider proper at one time in our life may be unacceptable in another. So then, in a challenging situation, we can choose to be stressed or not be stressed. It's a choice. Stress separates us from our spiritual nature, and it's the #1 cause of physical ailments. Over time, as we hold on to stress, we weaken our connection to Source, blocking the influx of life force energy. Instead, we can choose to react to situations from a higher point of view. Instead of being stressed, we can just do the best we can with what we have to work with at the time. Being stressed does not help a situation. In fact, quite the opposite. So we can move through a stressful situation gracefully and calmly, or we can move through the situation feeling stressed out. It's our choice. Now, I know there are situations that are truly tragic and stressful, and it's very hard to remain calm. But when we can, we're more able to shine our light into the mix, and that is the most helpful thing we can do anytime. When tragedies happen, we feel sad. We should feel sad, but we have to keep going. Of course, we react and feel things deeply, but we must not allow ourselves to sink. I learned this when I lost my parents. My father died suddenly, and my mother passed 6 months later. I began to sink. I felt the light slowly leaving my body. Then I realized they wouldn't want me to feel like that. And I pulled myself back up. When I did, I felt the light flowing back into my energy body. It was then that I realized that my purpose here is to hold as much light as I can and to shine it out into the world. Being enlightened this is the new era. It's a place from where we look out and see all that's happening in the world outside of the new era. Being enlightened in the new era begins with opening a door. The door's an etheric one. It opens when we realize there's something else and we want to know what that is. That initial step raises our vibration, and we continue following the guidance that's directing us towards further raising our vibration. Then more doors open. As we move along the spiral of ascension and towards higher realms, our vibration increases. We enter states of consciousness, cultivating life force energy. The energy body, we all have one, is invisible to the naked eye and fueled by life force energy. Traditionally, we don't learn much about our individual energy systems. The problem with that is it limits our ability to nurture or regulate this part of us. Just like the circulatory and lymphatic systems of our physical body, the energy body has a system of meridians or energy channels. Often, our state of well-being originates in our energy body. This is before it appears in the physical body. In the new era, we become more intimately in touch with our energy bodies. We discover that we know things using more than our 5 senses. We find that we have intuitive capabilities that cannot be measured scientifically, but prove to be true over and over when we listen to them and take the lead that they present to us. As we become more sensitive to our energy, we are increasingly able to determine how outside influences may be affecting us. It's then that we can respond by consciously embracing moderation and nurturing ourselves. It's then that we restore the flow of balance through our energy bodies once again. It's our personal responsibility to maintain our energetic system. The good news is we have all the necessary tools to do so. We come equipped with intuitive capabilities. We must only learn to use them to keep us feeling well and happy. We achieve this through balance and moderation. To hold more light, we must be balanced because it's our default state. Only then can we bring in higher vibrations of light. Being still is the posture of enlightenment. When we're still, light flows through us. Being still begins with connecting with our center, the place from which we incarnated into this lifetime. It's the place of our first memory, and it's our home. We find stillness in our center, the place where we feel the happiest and the most peaceful. It's also the point from which we find balance. It's our safe place, our familiar place, and the place where we become focused. Using our imagination, we can go there and walk in a field of green grass or sit in a beautiful garden filled with flowers and streaming sunlight. It's the little bit of paradise that belongs to only us. Then we can discover that we're masters, taking part in the process of conscious human evolution and fulfilling ancient agreements to hold the light for all humankind. By using discretion, we determine the energy we allow into our light body, avoiding what takes away our power, what lowers our energy level, or what makes us energetically weaker. By filtering the information coming into our consciousness, it's possible to remain happy and peaceful, even when things around us seem otherwise. When we're transparent, in other words, being in the world and deciding in which ways we'll take part, we can hold more light and send it back out into the world. It's not nobler to be part of the demise of civilization or to tune into aspects of our culture that are not life-sustaining. And it most certainly does not help those who choose to participate in the lower levels of consciousness. Holding more light makes us more enlightened. As we hold more light, we view others without judgment, criticism, or ridicule. We might have been the same way they are at another part of our journey. Just because we've gone farther doesn't mean we're better or wiser. It's only an indication of the current vibration of our light body. There are other moments when our vibration might have been quite different. And in other simultaneously existing dimensions, things might even be reversed. Anything that vibrates lower than our current energetic level, we can observe, but not embrace, and certainly not integrate into our energy body. This might seem selfish to some, but it's our duty to keep our vibration at the highest level possible. Allowing lower vibrating energies to affect us isn't helping anyway. It's our responsibility to hold the light. We're living side by side with a part of humanity still clinging on to the old ways, the struggle, the doubt, and the belief that miracles don't happen anymore. Maybe we were once in the same place as they are, but they must find their way just as we did. What we can do is shine our light as brightly as possible to light the path for them. As we hold the light, we're opening the pathways to others so they can also increase their light quotient. There's something we can do in every situation in life, and that is to send love. When we do this, especially in challenging situations, we're keeping our own vibration high. When we send love, we're thinking with our heart. When we do this, we're guided to achieve the best outcome in all situations. And when we consciously take part in shining our light so that others will know that there is a light, we're taking part in one of the greatest events we have yet to experience. The new era is dawning, and we're part of it, embracing it in love and light. Many of us are consciously part of the ascension process, facilitating this major evolutionary quantum leap by taking part as conduits for increased light and life force energy, more than the inhabitants of Earth have seen for an exceptionally long time. It's what we've chosen to do, it's our destiny, and it's what matters to us. Our male and female energies are becoming balanced, and we will again become the luminous light beings we once were. This is the best of times. Yes, it is. Every day we can bring increased light into the world, thereby raising the vibration of humanity. When have we ever had the opportunity to evolve into a crystalline cellular structure and a new physical form? There's no linear process on a spiritual path. It's a quantum journey of plateaus and quantum leaps and bounds, all of which are necessary to move forward. However, we can measure our spiritual progress by how happy and balanced we are. In the quiet times, we may feel as though we're stagnant or not going forward. It's then that we're on plateaus, places for integrating new energy. It's a time of stillness and calm. Enjoy it, because it probably won't last very long. Soon the journey begins again with new and exciting advances along our spiritual path. We're all connected by the common higher energies that we share. We may call it love, a higher vibration, or universal life force energy. But whatever the name, it's the vibration of the new era, and we're here to hold the light. And finally, I would like to ask everyone to remember our dear sister Anne in your prayers, and our dear brother, James Tiburon. Thank you.
Brasil, meu Brasil brasileiro, meu mulato insoneiro, vou cantar-te nos meus versos. O Brasil samba que dá bamboleio, que faz gingar. O Brasil do meu amor, terra de nosso Senhor. Brasil, pra mim, pra mim, pra mim.
Vai thank you all from my heart. I didn't expect this. I said, I'm not getting in there. I'm not going up the stage. Ken insisted. But from my heart, I thank you for the love, for the healing, just for being there for me. I felt it. I knew sometimes I couldn't answer your emails. You were always in my heart. But you felt the love. And I thank you all. I thank you all. God bless you. You're always in my heart. I felt the love. And I thank you all. I thank you all. God bless you. In my heart, and I felt the love, and I thank you all. I thank you all. God bless you.